My prayerful greetings to all my brother knights and their families. The topic that I like to share with you today is domestic church. Now, from the very title, we know domestic church is a church that I'm going to talk about. Now, what is domestic? Domestic means my home, my family should be a church. Before I go deeper into this, I must tell you this. I was born and raised in a very, very religious and spiritual family. And the head of our spirituality was my mom and my dad. They were the priests, so to say. They were the leaders of the domestic church. And they never gave us long lecture on God or on spirituality or what we should be doing as Catholics. Then I don't think they ever preached or talked to us. We are 8 children, and they raised all 8 of them in an excellent way, beautiful way. But I must tell you this. Their example was the best teaching. You know, St. Francis of Assisi said, preach the gospel all the time. If needed, use words. I can tell you, I can testify to the fact that my parents used words very seldom. But we saw in them a beautiful, inspiring example. So, Sunday Mass was not an option. We never talked about, in the family, should we go for Mass? No. That was not an option. We went together. And nobody in my family ever missed Mass, even to this day. Now, that's the beauty of example. So what my parents instilled in me and 7 of my siblings, and they, in their turn, instilled in their children. And that's what domestic church should be. And I must tell you, with a heavy heart, that our families today, the families of Nicer Columbus today, they are far from being domestic church. I'm afraid that many of us and our families have lost sight of God. We have abandoned God. We become too materialistic. We are all craving or chasing after material things. I'm telling you, we don't trust God. We don't give God the number 1 place that our freedom fighters wanted this country in general. In God we trust. And every family should have, first and foremost, this message, this maxim, in God we trust. I'm sorry, my dear brother knights and your families. Today, many knights are saying, in my money, in my wealth, in my position, in my name, in my fame, I trust. And therefore, what is domestic church? What makes a domestic church? Number 1, the father and the mother and the children. Father and mother. They are the pillars of the domestic church. I want the parents to give God the number 1 position. Today, I know many parents are beating their breast and saying, Father, I'm sorry, we lost our children. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to hear this news, but I want you to know this. What did you do to educate your children, to raise your children? Did you give them God by your life and example? Or did you show them how to be rich, how to make money? My dear parents, teach your children how to be happy. Let them find true happiness in their life. And let them recognize from your life and experiences and your life examples that materialism cannot bring happiness to our families. Today, many of our children, many of us, parents, are in depression because we have eliminated God. We have abandoned God. We have gone after a new God that we created, mammon, money. Jesus was very clear when he said, you can't serve two masters. You will hate one and love the other. And he said, you cannot love God and your mammon. And therefore, my dear brother knights and your families, please, it is never late. Look at the country today. What do you read? Breaking, shocking news of young kids as old as 18 years. They take weapon in their hands and kill innocent people. You heard about Texas. Babies, children. Why? Because there is no spirituality in them. There is no God in them. The devil has filled their heart. And therefore, my dear brother, sister, this is what is going to happen to our families, to the society. If we do not fight for God, if we do not give God the rightful place, He is a creator. And He wants us to, He wants us to be happy, to find the right happiness, the right peace. And that can come only from Him and the Son whom He sent as our Savior, as our Master, as our Lord, as our teacher. And He is the way, the truth, and the life. No one can come to my Father except through me, He said that. And so, my dear brother knights, please recognize your families as the best gift that God has given to you. And it is your responsibility to sustain your family, to nourish your families with the prayer. And therefore, don't be afraid. As father, as a mother, it is your responsibility. You're a teacher. You need to teach your children. Not by words, by example. That children, we need to have God. When the children see parents believing in God and living their life by praying, see, children will follow. In closing, I want to tell you this, parents, knights. Prayer is not taught. My parents showed us that. Prayer is not taught. Prayer is caught. You see your parents praying and you catch that. Prayer is not taught. Prayer is caught. Let your families and your homes be places where our children can catch the prayer and live by the prayer. And once they have prayer, that is the language with which they communicate with God, I promise you, your children, your families will be saved. Let us enrich our families, enrich our homes in the hands of, through our Blessed Mother Mary. Place it in her hands. And Mary, our mother, will help us to save our families and make our families, keep our families the best gifts that God has given them to us. Thank you and God bless.